This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everyone? I don't know why that line made me laugh today, Papa, when you said that. Well, all right. What's up, everybody? We're on Dudes Who Bet Sports. We're back. We weren't here last week, but we're back. Are you excited?
Yeah, sure. I think everything that's going on might be about what's making you laugh.
Oh, no. It's been a fun day. It's good. If you didn't know, the website, like very much unexplainably, a freak thing crashed today, about 45 minutes. And that's about 35 minutes longer than it usually does when it crashes, because as I was saying on Blinkers Off, we've got really good people and they're on it just like that. And they couldn't really figure out what was happening today, but they did, and everything's fine. So yeah, just kind of a laugh. And I'll go ahead and put this up on the screen. And I'll give our fan here, our best fan, Shoddy. She actually emailed me this. She broke the news to me about this. Forte, that's right. Forte has been disqualified from what now? Yes, the 2022 Hopeful Stakes at Saratoga back in last September. Forte was had a drug overage. Nobody knew about it until yesterday. And today a ruling comes out that he has been suspended from the race. Todd Pletcher has been fined $1,000 and suspended 10 days. So that is the news here. Initial thoughts on the 2022 Hopeful getting changed today, May 11th, 2023.
I don't think you want to know. No, okay, let me get this straight. This was in September. They just now found out?
Correct.
It took this long to find this? And to break this and everything?
I guess.
Which probably means had he ran the Kentucky Derby and won the Kentucky Derby, he may have been suspended from that. I don't know.
I don't know, because he ran in all these other races and we haven't heard anything about it. But
yeah,
this
is why would it take that long? Why? I do not understand why it takes so long for the blood work or whatever the test is to come back. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And I had to laugh when you said Pletcher was fined $1,000. Wow, big slap on the wrist there. And oh my God. And then suspended 10 days before we went on the air.
Yeah.
I've just got to think the rules are too vague. There's something. These guys aren't stupid. They wouldn't be doing this. I refuse to believe these guys are cheating. Some of them, yes, but Todd Pletcher, I don't know.
It seems
the rules are different in every state, right?
Yeah, and they do kind of cite that here in the Blood Horse article. By the way, yes, I'm on the Blood Horse here. If you want to go read this for yourself, it is one of the headlines on bloodhorse.com. Great publication. I can't say that I don't know if they broke the news or not, but that's where I saw it first. So I'll say that they were one of the sites that broke the news here of the suspension and disqualification. The overage is for meloxicam, which is a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medication. So,
which sounds
like something I've even heard of, to be completely honest.
Exactly. And I mean, there's been outcries from people saying they need a national board. Mm-hmm. Somebody that's like the NCAA was in football, somebody that runs it, that makes some of these rules universal.
Mm-hmm. And the decision comes more than 9 months. I'm reading from the Blood Horse article now. The decision comes more than 9 months after the Hopeful, a delay caused in part by repeated procedural delays sought by the Trainers Council. So when Chris Alone says that, basically Pletcher and his not Pletcher, himself, but the legal counsel was trying to appeal / maybe appeal's not the right word, but just try to keep this from getting out, basically try to fight this. Also, it says that the trainer does or will appeal this as well, this ruling. So who knows if this is going to hold up or not. Gulfport now is the winner, quote unquote, of the hopeful. So there's a grade 1 win for Gulfport now. How about that?
Yeah. I want to clarify too. Catherine goes, really, you don't believe they would try doping a horse for advantage? No, that's not what I said. I don't think they realize what is legal and what is not.
When you say they, you're meaning more the Todd Pletcher than
yes,
Todd Pletcher barn versus all the trainers.
Yeah, right? I just don't think they know for sure what. Yeah. That's what I mean. Sure, they'll do anything for an advantage. That's the name of the game. But I don't think they're stupid enough to do this on purpose.
Right. Yeah. JW says, what else is David O'Rourke on Naira covering up? And see, that's the problem you get into when this happens. If this say even it's 1st of November of 2022, and we hear about this, still too long, but it's like, okay, whatever. But it's just like, this gets broke by a New York Times reporter yesterday.
Right.
And now today we have a ruling on it. It's like, what if that reporter hadn't have broke that? Would we have any ruling today? I'm not sure. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, Baffert, he can run in certain tracks, but he can't run in others and all of that. That needs to be a across the board thing. In my opinion, if you're found guilty in Kentucky of something and they say you're guilty, it should be everywhere. I mean, I don't know. It's happening too much.
Yeah, it's a big time problem. Yeah, it's a big time problem. So Pletcher got 45-day suspension and $3,000 fine for drugs several years ago. I think that was one that they fought, though. I'm not sure that he ever really served that. So
most of the big timers have gotten some sort of a suspension.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And Trish is right. And this is the problem. Horse racing is making it so hard to trust anything. And that's the issue, right? When this stuff happens, and it's so shady, and they've kept it from you, and now it's like, we can't keep it from the public anymore.
I know.
But the public is the game, right? Like that's what the public, that's who supports the game and props the game up. Without the public and without the betting public specifically, there isn't a sport. So
exactly,
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. And like I say, it's just happening too much. It's just seems like every other week something goes down, So I don't know. It's not good news. That's for sure.
It's not good news at all. Ed says, I think you mean, why didn't Papa Dude defend Baffert? I mean, you kind of did in a way, did you not?
Well, here's the thing with Baffert. It's a repeat, he just keeps, it was too close together. And my deal with Baffert is, and I'm not sure he knew anything was wrong. I don't know whether I'm beginning to think they don't, but he was going to be scrutinized so closely that he needed to be squeaky clean. That was the thing I never could figure out. But again, maybe this stuff just happens. I don't know.
The problem with Bob Baffert, when he went through his, let's call it situation, is it was positives in the Kentucky Oaks and a positive that next year in the Kentucky Derby, and so those are races that are very, very scrutinized. There's no doubt about it, and that's going to come with a lot more. Like even the Hopeful, which is a huge race to me and to people that are listening to this. It's not the Derby, it's not the Oaks. And that's where Baffert kind of got in his big trouble. It's like, you can't mess with that race. And look, Saffie Joseph, I think, is another one.
Yeah.
He had a couple of horses, pass away at Churchill, and they said, get out of here, because it was Kentucky Derby week. And that's just how it is. So,
and Baffert, Trish brings up, had several horses dying. Just, there was too much on him. There was just too much.
Yeah, he went through some rough times for sure. But look, I don't the thing about it is, it's a positive, and
It is.
to me, it doesn't really matter if it was an accident, if this or that or the other. If you have set rules
Mm-hmm.
and you break them, well, you gotta pay the consequences.
You
You know,
do.
if I'm driving in a area where I think the speed limit is 55, right, and I'm going 55, but the speed limit is actually 35. Well, I didn't know I was breaking the law, but I was still breaking the law,
That's true.
right? So if the
Yep.
cop pulls me over and I go, well, I thought I was in a 55, he's not going to go, oh, well, don't worry about it. I'll cover
Yeah.
that up for 9 months. And if the New York Times writes
Yeah.
an article about it,
That's a
then
very
I'm going
good point.
to punish you. I don't care about you. We can talk about Baffert or Pletcher or all these people. I don't think the thing that makes me the maddest is we can't police this. We just, even when they're doing, whether they're doing right or wrong, but when they're doing wrong, we find out about it 9 months later. And now what's going to happen is there's going to be an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
So he won't be fined $1,000 and he won't serve that 10-day suspension until that appeal's over. And then if he loses that, there might be another appeal. So,
Which will, Shadi ask a question.
yeah.
Would he be able to train Mage in the Preakness? Which, yes, he will, because there will be an appeal to this.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? I got one more thing here. Do you think the fact that some of these barns are getting so big that they're spread out all over the country? You see what I'm saying? And so Pletcher can't be in 4 barns at the same time. Could stuff be happening?
It's a good
because
argument.
some of the workers are doing things they shouldn't or accidentally do something or to that effect?
I think it's, if you want to defend a trainer, I think that's a fun way to do it, but I don't think it's really accurate.
Well, I'm just wondering maybe that. Yeah, I'm just wondering.
If you think of it like this, so this was at Saratoga. Pletcher's at Saratoga every day. So no, that doesn't even apply, right? Because he's
not to this one. Not to this one.
Right. So yeah, I mean, if your assistant trainer has done something and you were at your, barn in New York and you were at Gulfstream, well, then you might go, well, that this trainer didn't even know what was going on there. And that could be true. But the people that work with the horses every day, like the grooms, the hot walkers, and the trainer, these grooms and hot walkers aren't doing anything.
Well, let me throw this out.
The trainer doesn't tell them to do.
Does this happen more than we think, and it gets pushed under because they're not a famous horse?
Of course. Ed Morales, that's why I have his comment up. And Ed Morales says, apparently many trainers are doing this. Cox came up with a drug positive a couple of months ago. That is accurate and true. Pretty hushed up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cox came up with one. But how many times are horses coming up positive with these bigger barns?
Yeah.
And nobody's saying anything and nobody knows it, right?
Yeah, because it's a lesser horse. Because
think about 4 or 5 days ago. Okay. We didn't know anything. We would never dream that Forte got a positive in the 2022 hopeful. That's never been a thought in anybody's brain until a reporter from the New York Times reported it yesterday in a hit piece. So and then racing people go, well, this guy from the New York Times writes a hit piece about horse racing. And of course he digs this up. Why did he have to dig it up is my rebuttal. This should be public knowledge.
It's a crime. It's against the rules.
And the people in horse racing are like, well, this guy just hates racing and wants to do anything to bring it down. My rebuttal to that is we make it really freaking easy for him to do that with stupidity.
Yeah.
And this isn't the first time or the last time.
So let me get this straight too. Pletcher, the owner, they knew this.
Mm-hmm.
They knew, right? This is not a surprise to them today.
This is not a surprise to them. No.
So they've known this all along. Well, this could possibly happen.
I would assume. Yes.
Okay. We don't
99.9% sure the answer would be yes to that. But go ahead.
Well, then they I'm just thinking about the owner in the interview and how sick he was that he wasn't going to run in the Kentucky Derby. And he knew that this possibly was going to break or could break. Kind of, I don't know.
Listen, I think the New York Times reporter likes to write hit pieces on horse racing. He just does. He's not a fan of it, and he likes to write hit pieces on horse racing. And again, we make it really easy.
Yeah.
We make it really easy. I don't think he has to even research all that much.
It doesn't matter, though. Like you said, the bottom line is they did something wrong.
Exactly. And
so own it. You got to own it.
Well, and I don't think it's the connection's fault. I wouldn't come out and just say it,
Sure.
It's the tracks or the jurisdictions that are over the tracks. It's like, why did you do this? Why did you? And again, like you said, if it's the third race on a Thursday in the middle of the summer and something happens, yeah, sure. You're going to be able to keep that quiet and you do whatever you want to do with it. That's just the facts of it. But when it involves the Kentucky Derby favorite that just scratched, people are going to start digging, right?
Yep.
So anyway, that's that. Any further comments?
No, I don't have any further comments. I mean, it is something every day, seems like. So
it is. I don't. And again, I see a lot of people that are really deep into the sport, just saying, "Oh, just ignore this," and it's like it's just one more thing amongst many, many things that an outsider, and again, for the people in the bubble of horse racing, it's almost like we were talking about this on Bleakers Off. It's like it's commonplace. It's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, that's normal. That happens. But if we're ever going to get people from outside our little bubble to join and come into our bubble, shit like this is going to run 99.9% of new people off. I don't know why they can't see that. But
that's true. And because here's the thing about horse racing. It's damn hard to be good at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the normal guy don't want to spend that much time trying to figure out how to do this stuff.
Right.
And then we add this on top of it, and it's easy just to say, I ain't going to do this. They're cheating anyway.
Yeah. Well, and it's easy. Like I said, it's hard to do. And
it's hard.
You see stories like this and are like, well, it's hard enough. And now we got I don't know who's cheating and who's not. And
that's right.
I'll just go bet the Warriors or the Nuggets and the Suns tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now I don't look at it that way, but a lot of people I know do. I don't ever like I can't tell you how many people come up to me and they'll go, couldn't they rig that race? Couldn't the jockeys get together and rig a race? Yeah. I said, well, sure they could, but I don't look at it that way. I refuse to. But a lot of people have that opinion of this, Yeah. You hear it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, all the time. And look, here's Shotty saying it. She recently got back in the game. It's been a little over a year now, but that's still pretty recent, and it's very disheartening. And I mean, how can you sit there and say, "Oh, don't worry about it"?
Yeah,
you can't, because she's right. It is. I've been in it forever. I feel like now, and I'm just like, this is stupid. I don't. Yeah. And I used to be one of those people that I just defend it and go, oh, this, and this guy. No, it's ridiculous. And it, like I said, our bubble is what it is. Very few people are coming in this bubble when you hear shit like this. It's not going to do it, especially when you can bet on so many more things legally in the country right now than we've ever been able to do before.
And one more thing for me, I think why I feel the way I do, and I don't want to think that it's rigged and all this kind of, and people are cheating, is I know too damn many good people in the industry. That's people that I like, and they're good people.
Absolutely. And that's what makes me absolutely sick. Yeah. That people that we know, and we know a lot of them. We're very lucky to know a lot of them. I feel very fortunate to know some of these people. Some of the best people I know are in racing.
Yeah.
But these people are giving them a bad name, and it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate.
It is.
But what are you going to do? I mean, so with that being said, let's talk about a horse race. What do you say?
Okay.
Is anybody still here? And everybody go, yeah, they're right. This sport sucks. Do you want to talk about the Preakness?
Well, I don't think we have to talk about it too long. I looked at all the horses, and I come away from it thinking, if Mage can come back, on 2 weeks, I don't think anybody beats him.
Yeah.
If he come back.
I think I'm there with you. We'll talk about we'll kind of wrap the Preakness and Derby into one here. The more you've watched the Derby, and we've talked about it on Blinkers Off. I did a video on it. Jared has a video, I think, on it as well. But you haven't really spoke on Mage just a whole lot as far as on air. When you watch that back,
he good.
Was incredible, was he not?
Well, and that's 2 races in a row. He's really ran well.
Yeah.
He just got beat in the Florida Derby by a horse that probably was on drugs, but anyway.
well, maybe. Hey, you know what?
Maybe Mage is on drugs.
No, now listen. There's good news. In March of 2024, Mage might win the 2023 Florida Derby. Stay tuned for that. It could happen.
That's true.
9-10 months from now, 14 could get disqualified from that race.
By the time the Florida Derby runs next year, he may be declared the winner.
Exactly. Yes. And that would be an amazing feat. So anyway, go on.
Okay. Yeah, he was extremely impressive. And then you look at the new shooters that he's going to be going up against. First Mission looks good, but his best win is a grade 3. Yeah. Only run 3 times, and it's hard for me to get behind him.
Yeah. He's not your type of horse.
I don't see Chase the Chaos. I looked at him, he's got 3 wins, but this is a huge step up for him. Mm-hmm. National Treasure hasn't done much this year. Mm-mm. Nothing really to rally around there. Perform broke its maiden on the 6th try at Tampa, right, and then won a stakes at Laurel. I can't get behind Perform. Can you?
Nope. No, I cannot.
Blazing Sevens, not much there. So, Red Route 1, we know him like the back of our hands. We know what he's going to do.
Yeah. If he beats Mage, it means Mage didn't fire.
Exactly. Yeah. Call me stupid, but the horse I like coming out of the Kentucky Derby, the ones that ran in the Derby and are coming into this one, you're going to laugh, is Disarm.
Yeah.
I think he's done the most.
I'm not laughing. Yeah. Now, let me.
He ran great in the Derby.
Let me rebut that comment, though.
Okay.
First Mission did beat Disarm fairly easily in the Lexington.
That's true. You're right
about that.
You are right. And here's the other thing. Disarm's coming off the Kentucky Derby as well.
Yeah.
And that's 2 weeks, and these horses today don't do that, which does make First Mission probably the second horse to Mage. Because I think the only question, at least in my mind, if Mage fires, is can he come back after running his butt off 2 weeks ago?
It feels to me like if he gets into a little bit of a battle, that's where it could get sketchy because he needs I say that, but the Derby, I don't think he was really just like all out in the Derby either. So maybe wasn't as tough as a race as I think on him, but yeah, I do think it comes down to him. He's going to have to show up. He's going to have to run.
Yeah.
A race that's, I'm not going to say much less, but it's going to have to be less than that Derby effort, because if he runs the Derby effort, I don't think anybody can raise their game up high enough to beat him. I just don't. And not even First Mission, a horse I'm high on. I don't think he can beat him if May shows up with that Derby effort. Now, however, he's raced 4 times. His maiden was good. His second race was solid, but you could tell that was a learning experience. I'm not holding it against him, but it wasn't great. His third race was a winning race, but it wasn't like off the charts amazing. And then the Derby was. So is he improving? And that's who he is. The Derby is now who he is. Or was that kind of he's a nice horse? That was a huge effort. And is he going to regress back to just being a nice horse?
That's what we don't know. And that's what makes horse racing what it is.
That's right.
And it does look like this, glancing on this, it looks to me like First Mission might be one of the few that'll go to the front. he has shown the signs to have some early speed.
If not in the front, I think he'll be close.
And he might be able to get up there. But, Mage has got to really he can finish. He showed that. He comes up.
Yeah.
And he's better than Red Route 1. Who's the other just deep closer? And he's very impressive, but he gets just too far behind.
Yeah.
So, at this stage, I just don't now. Is there a chance somebody else will be in this, or is this it?
Well, I mean, there's always a chance somebody gets added or taken off this list, but as of right now, this is it.
Yeah,
so, we'll see.
Let me say, Catherine here brings this up. I don't know if it's got secretariat qualities, but this would be a horse that if he can win this one, he's won the first two. Obviously has a shot at a Triple Crown, and I don't think anybody would have predicted that. Would you?
No, never would I have thought anybody in this crop had a shot at the Triple Crown. And again, I'm sitting there saying, look, if he runs that race back that he ran in the Derby, he will have a shot at the Triple Crown.
I think so too.
Chance. Yeah.
And he could win the Belmont. He could. So.
Yeah. He could, but again, we gotta. The step number one is the Derby winner is going to Baltimore.
That's true.
We always take for granted, and 4 out of the last 5 years, the horse has not went to Baltimore. So, step one, we actually have the Derby winner there. That's great.
Yeah.
So, whatever he does, he does.
They had. Yeah. I mean, the way he ran, he had to go. It was just a tremendous effort.
By the way, that's another breaking news thing we haven't talked about, and we will here for just a second. Well, hold on. Let me get to Shoddy's comment because Disarm is running on pretty short. I
agree.
Ran the Louisiana Derby, wheeled back to the Lexington, 2 weeks later to the Kentucky Derby, and now we're 2 weeks later to the Preakness. That's got to catch up. I mean, 3 weeks, I guess.
That is extremely difficult. Yeah.
So we shall see. Is it confirmed that Mage is going? Well, I mean, they said that nothing's confirmed really until they enter, but they said he's going. So as of now, yes.
He's going if he tests out okay. If he's training well, that kind of stuff.
You say test out okay. Don't phrase it like that. I remember it was the Friday or Saturday after the Derby when the news broke about Medina Spirit's positive. So hopefully they all test out okay this year. But we'll see. The other big thing, Rich Strike is changing trainers. Did you hear about that?
No.
There is a fight over the name, image, and likeness use of Rich Strike.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
God.
So Rich Strike is changing trainers.
Going to change trainers.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. See where he goes. So
unbelievable.
Here's a good question, actually. The Curious Driver says, do you think the Preakness let me reread it again. Do you think the Preakness dead rail will have much an effect on closers? So in the past, whether it be the rail oftentimes is dead at Pimlico, or just a track that does tend to favor speed, whether the rail's dead or not. So this is a very good question. I don't know is the answer. Usually you can tell on that track, we've got a big time speed bias, right? More so than other regular days. I think it could play a factor. I think that could really hurt Mage for sure if he tries that trip again. But here's the key, and the thing you gotta not realize, that's not the right word, but thing you gotta take into account. He actually is capable of getting towards the front. He just won't do it because he doesn't break very well. But you go watch his maiden, he was able to do it. So I think if something happens, and it's a speed bias track, I think they'll send him and they'll sit him a little bit closer. So I'm not really worried about a horse like Mage because I do think he's kind of versatile. But a Red Route 1, that type, yeah, I'd be worried about him. So
yeah.
I I shouldn't ask you this because be good here. But
No,
Miranda wants to know, Papa Dude, are you happy that all the Japanese horses went back to Japan?
I don't care that they went back to Japan. I'm just glad they didn't win the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
So we don't have to hear it. But again, next year there'll be one and the same old shit. It'll be, I think he's going to win it. This is the best one they've ever sent over. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
I hear it every year. Hey, this horse is great.
On Derma, I thought he ran a pretty good race, honestly. Got out of the gate poor and struggled to kind of get his footing. Once he kind of got going, he did okay. I think he got 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever.
No, Ed, I'm not fighting World War II, but I haven't forgiven him yet. But anyway.
Okay. Yeah. So Michael says, I'm letting one of those horses beat me. That's ultimately what I ended up doing as well this year. It's just like, you know what? If he wins, he wins. But I'm not going to do that. So
who,
now,
Derma?
I will say I did like Mandarin Hero a little bit because
I liked him better than I did the other one. Yeah.
Well, Mandarin Hero, you could make more of a case for because he came over here and he raced against some of our horses.
Yeah.
And Michael, you saw him live and in person out at Santa Anita. So you could kind of think, okay, well, he's a little bit more prepared to run in the Kentucky Derby. So,
yeah, I just.
He didn't run a step, by the way.
Well, he wasn't. He didn't have enough time to prepare mentally. The horse didn't know he was going to be in the Derby till the day before, so he just didn't get himself mentally prepared.
There it is. That's here on this show, we solve problems, and we just solved that problem. That was the problem that he had.
I'm proud to say that I did not pick in the top 4 any Japanese horse, but I would have been. That's the one I would have been the maddest had it beat me, or if he won. Yeah. I don't have anything against the horse.
I know.
I just get tired of people saying how great they are when they've never done anything when they get over here. So in the Derby.
You're right. Nope. That was well said. You saved it. I was going to bring up the Breeders' Cup and you knew I was going there. So
I just haven't seen it, So
well, and that we say it every year. The win in the Derby is a different animal than any other race. It's just different. So
yeah. So hard.
All right. Do you want to go into a little bit of sports before we get out?
I guess I do have some interesting questions today too. So
should we just go right to the questions? I feel like it's a day where it's just like, let's just answer them.
People love the questions and
all right. Let's
wait a minute. Racist?
No. No, I will not get those. He's not. He's very listen. He
it's not in at all.
No, he just doesn't want the Japanese horses to win the Kentucky Derby. I think all of us are like that.
Yeah, they did bomb Pearl Harbor too.
That's true. Yeah,
that's history. We can't get away from it. But no, I don't. I just don't want the Japanese horses. I don't want the British horses to win. I don't want a horse from Europe to win. I want us to win the Kentucky Derby. It's not racism. That's just I'm just rooting for the USA to win it. And I'm pretty safe saying they're going to.
We'll do one last thing here because the first question was good. This is something as well. Curious Driver said he or she, I guess he is worried about first mission bolting and getting gas like Kingsbarn did.
Could be.
Well, I think there's a lot less chance because in the Derby with that many horses, it tends to lead towards a horse kind of running off and getting competitive because, the more horses in a race, the better chance that pace is going to heat up. And I think with Kingsbarn, they tried to get him engaged early and he saw verifying and he just went out there with them and they're having trouble controlling him. In the Preakness, it probably, you always have a chance of it, but it probably won't happen like that. It'll probably be a little bit lighter of a pace, a little bit more relaxed as there's only going to be 8, 9, 10 horses in the field. So
right.
I wouldn't be overly concerned about that. All right, let's get to it. Kevin B says, as a Devils fan, how many drinks should I be prepared for tonight? We'll go Devils, Carolina. I mean, it seems like this one's about over, right?
I think so. I just haven't seen the Devils be very competitive in this enough. They had a shot in Game 4 and they laid an egg. And as we said this morning, they're having a little goaltending issue, and you don't want to have a goaltending issue when you're going into Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
Although Toronto's goaltender was fantastic last night, kind of a similar situation. I just think Carolina at home is going to get them, and I think you, New Jersey fans, you ought to be thrilled with your team this year. I don't think very many people picked them to do as well as they have. Carolina's a really good team.
Yep. All right. So
you
Carolina,
you beat the Rangers. That had to make you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going Carolina as well. I think they'll finish it up tonight. Let's stick with the East. Let's go. They're playing tomorrow, Game 5, but the Panthers and the Leafs. Panthers are up 3-1. The Leafs do have 2 out of the last 3 at home. If it goes that far, can they make it a miraculous comeback, or will the Panthers eventually end this thing?
I tell you what, if they win tomorrow night, the pressure's on to Florida.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you don't close them out at home, when you have the chance to do it. You know, they should have won that. I'm not saying they should have won, but when you hold a team to 2 goals, you should win.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. And so now they've got to go back up there. Am I crazy, or has Toronto played better in this series than they did in Tampa Bay series? I think they have.
They've been in some games where it's 50-50 games, and they just didn't win them.
Right. And they got pretty fortunate in the Tampa Bay series.
They did. Yep.
So I really like them. The way they're playing, I thought they could have won another game in that series. That would have been Game 4. So, or no, it'd be Game 3. It's a huge game tomorrow night. I'm going to give Toronto a pretty good chance to win tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think the Panthers win the series, though. I don't think Toronto
I do
can win
too.
4 in a row.
I'm picking the Panthers to make it to the finals, so that's probably going to jinx them. But they look really good. They didn't play very well last night, though. Not great. They didn't. I heard the announcing, and I agreed with them. Didn't have that urgency last night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't have that edge last night. So
yeah, I think they'll bounce back. I mean, it's going to be tough to win 4 straight for the Leafs. That's the
I turned the channel. Did they have a 6-minute power play and they didn't score?
Mm-hmm.
Did I hear that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the game right there. You have to score in a 6-minute power play. You have to.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, we both like the Panthers to make it to the finals. I like them as well. Let's go out to the West real quick here. You got the Kraken and the Stars at 2-2. And then you also have Edmonton and Vegas at 2-2. Stars and Kraken tonight. Who's winning this series?
I'm still on Dallas. I just like them a little bit better. And again, as I said on the Daily Show today, I'm just, for a guy that's been around forever, I just can't believe a team in their second year of existence is as good as Seattle was. Yeah. I couldn't believe in Vegas back that year when they did what they did. That's part of my problem. And I just think Dallas is just a little better. I know you're going Seattle tonight. I don't blame you. They have surprised us this entire run, and then they deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah, I agree. I did go Seattle in this game tonight. I like the plus money aspect of it. That's the biggest reason. But I still think Dallas is going to win the series. But I think they'll find a way. But I think it's going to go 7 games. Now, Oilers and the Golden Knights. This is a great series.
Yes, it is.
Star power for the Oilers versus kind of that solid, consistent play of the Golden Knights. Who's winning this? This is going to be interesting.
This is going 7. I think.
I agree.
I'm so mad because it's on late, and I can make it through 2 periods. I can't make it through the intermission between the second and third. I go to sleep every time, and it's a great series and 2 really good teams. Edmonton is so bad one night and so good the next. And they played really well last night after just a dog of a game in Game 3. Mm-hmm. I don't know who's going to win. I think Edmonton's more talented. I think it's just going to come down to a lucky bounce. I really do. If Edmonton could somehow win Game 5 in Vegas, I think they can close it out in Game 6. But How would you like to go into Vegas and have to win a game 7? That would be pretty tough.
Yeah, I think the series is going to be game 5. I'm with you, and I haven't really decided who I'm going to pick yet. That's tomorrow night. So
that's a toss-up.
I don't know who's coming out of the West. We like Florida in the East. Who's coming out of the West?
Oh, you have to think the winner of that Edmonton Vegas is the best team.
I agree.
But are they going to be just whipped? If let's say Dallas wins tonight and goes and wins game 6, and then Edmonton and Vegas go to 7 games, Dallas might have the fresher legs, and Dallas can beat you. There's no doubt. But I'd have to go the winner of the Edmonton Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be fun to watch. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. I'm with you. On the West, I don't have strong opinions. In the East, I'm pretty strong.
And McDavid gets most of the ink, and he deserves it. I'm telling you, that Draisaitl is fantastic.
Yeah,
he is a tremendous player.
Yep, he definitely is. All right. Quickly to the basketball. Celtics and the Sixers tonight. The Sixers can close it out. Will they close out the Celtics tonight?
Well, I know you like Boston, and I see why. They better win tonight. I don't think they go into Boston and win a game 7. I picked them. Something's wrong with Boston. I don't know what it is. They just haven't played very well in the playoffs. They struggled against, I think, who was it? Atlanta. They should have swept Atlanta, and I went 6 games. They can't close out games. I don't know what's going on. And I think they're better than the Sixers. I really do. But I picked Philly tonight, but I wouldn't bet anything. I wouldn't bet any money on it.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't either. I'll take the Celtics tonight. I think they're still going to come back and do it, but I wouldn't be shocked one way or the other. Nuggets and the Suns. I think this thing's going 7. Who ultimately is going to win the series? Nuggets? Do you still like the Nuggets here?
I do if it goes. Yeah, I do. I just have not been impressed with Phoenix. Somebody on the Daily Show this morning had a really interesting comment. They said trying to piece superstars together doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. And I think part of it is we're piecing together old superstars.
Yeah,
that makes a big difference. Durant is still a very, very, very good player. But do you realize how many years he's played now? He has played a bunch, and the injuries are piling up on him. And I think he's breaking down a little bit. He's still good, don't get me wrong. And then Chris Paul's, he's at the end of his time. Of course, he's hurt and out. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver wins tonight. Would you?
No, I really wouldn't. I do think the Suns are going to take it to a 7th game, but I would not be shocked if it didn't go 7. Yeah, I wouldn't be.
No.
All right, let's go Knicks Heat. Gosh, this Heat team just they did get beat, but they didn't play horrible in game 5. Game 6 back in Miami. I feel like they're going to close this thing out. Are you still on the Heat?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. I was on the Heat all year. I just was waiting on what's going on. You guys just can't get it going. They did have a lot of injuries. They never did play well all season long. They never went on. That's pretty good there, Kevin. They never did get on any kind of a roll. But anybody's got Jimmy Butler, when he's on fire, he's as good as anybody. And the Knicks are not playing very well. So even though they won last night, I wasn't real impressed. I'm going Miami to end it, I guess, tomorrow night.
Yeah, I think Miami gets it done. I don't think it goes to a 7th game. Good season for the Knicks. I just don't think they're quite there yet. And then finally, last one we'll talk about before we get to the question segment of the show, Golden State and the Lakers. Listen, Lakers can close it out tomorrow night, game 6 at home. Should be a crazy crowd, big time atmosphere. Can the Warriors stave off elimination?
Sure they can. I mean, this is a game that can go either way. I would stay away from it. I'm not sold on the Lakers. Golden State is a champion, and you got to beat them. You know, they're not going to go away. They're like a gnat, just hangs around. You know, they got the heart of a champion. They're going to come in there and play really well. Yeah. The Lakers got to play a great game to beat them. I really believe that. And if it goes back to Golden State, I'm picking the Warriors. Both teams have a lot of age, and it's been a fascinating series. And again, it's another series that's on late at night. For most of the games are. I haven't got to watch it quite as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in this one. I think the Warriors are going to force a game 7. I really do, but I don't know. There's just something that they're not what they were.
The Lakers are going to have to get some contributions from somebody besides Davis and LeBron. If their role players come through, I think they win, but they're going to have some help tonight. Or is it tonight? No, tomorrow night.
Yeah. So here's a Facebook post from Rick Dawson, who owns Rich Strike.
Oh, okay.
And so Magic just sent this to me. I don't know how long ago this was posted, but this is I thank God every day I left social media. This is a Facebook post from Rick Dawson, owner of Rich Strike. He says, I just received notice that Eric Reed has quit as my trainer. I can't even read this without laughing. I have to make plans to move all my horses, including Rich Strike, immediately. It appears his agent/manager and Eric are subject to an agreement with Omaha Productions they signed many months ago that may incriminate them regarding possible violation to my trademark and NIL of my rights as an owner of Rich Strike. See agent and Omaha Production announcement. Life will go on. Go Richie. So there you go.
I don't even know how to comment to that.
It's just.
This is crazy stuff.
Quit is my trainer, as in the trainer said he gave me an ultimatum, basically. So I had to leave. Yeah, so.
Unbelievable.
Well,
that's a Kentucky Derby winner we're talking about. Oh.
I don't know. Let's go on to the questioning. What do you say? It's
probably be more fun.
So just real quick, for people that don't know, Kevin brings it up. Is Peyton Manning going to jail too? Which is a funny comment. But Peyton Manning, that Omaha Productions, that's him. That's his company. So what they're doing a documentary on Rich Strike, and they're also doing like, a movie, on that as well. So, there you have it. So big fight over that. So, and I don't know, maybe something did go down that's not quite right. I don't know the details, but anyway, that's what's going on in that world. So racing is really lined out. It's in good shape.
Unbelievable.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I've got some really just kind of funny little questions today.
Great. I can't.
Okay. I got a real serious one, but I think I'm going to save it. Anyway.
Maybe, yeah. Good idea.
Now some of these are real dumb and it won't take but a second. Okay.
Okay. Let's do it.
But it might inspire some deep thought. All right. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
When you're walking down the sidewalk, do you step on the cracks or you try to avoid them?
No, I can step on them. I don't care.
You don't?
No, I don't try to avoid them. I don't try to step on them. I just walk.
It never enters your mind.
Oh,
I do. I try to avoid them. Isn't that silly? I'm not saying I always do, but I try to.
All right, next.
Okay. Here's a philosophical question.
Great.
Why is sandwich meat round when the bread is square? Have you ever thought about that? Why wouldn't they make it the same?
Now, okay, here's the good news. You can get like shaved from the deli, and sometimes it's not round. But that is odd, because I will say this, it is odd when you make a sandwich and the corners are just bread.
I know.
It's strange. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not a big bread eater too much. So I got to slap on mustard or mayonnaise or whatever I'm putting on there on those corners.
Right.
Or you just get bread.
Yep.
It's pretty sucky. I don't care for that.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
That's not bad. Good job.
You like that one?
Not really, but.
Which is more important? You got three things to choose from. Okay. Which of these three things are more important?
Okay.
Beauty, power, or money? Beauty, power, or money? Which of those things is the most important? Beauty, power, or money? See, it's hard. Hard.
I don't know. That's tough.
Well, it's not beauty.
No, I don't think that's most important.
No, obviously, look at you. You're important.
There you go.
It can't be beauty. I'm important, so it can't be beauty. So beauty's not important. Do you have an advantage if you're beautiful?
Yeah, is it more of like what you want personally or a significant other? I think it's personally, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not choosing somebody. Obviously, beauty's more
important. I think power would be the most important.
I tend to lean that way too, but sometimes I think you have to have money to have the power.
Well, that's true. They do go hand in hand, but maybe not all the time.
Maybe not all the time.
I think power is number one.
Yeah. I do too. I don't really like power or money, either one, to be honest. I don't need it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Because I don't have it. I guess if I had it, I might need it. I think there's too much emphasis put on having power over people.
Well, that causes a lot of problems.
It does.
In your society, if you want to get.
And a lot of times you get the power over people because you have money.
Right. Yeah.
And you really didn't earn it. You just have the money. So therefore, then you turn it into power.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah.
When you go into the swimming pool, okay, do you dive in right into that water off the deep end, or you have to go in gradually?
Gradually. Definitely gradually.
Well, you did inherit something from me.
Gradually. I do not
hate cold water in a swimming pool worse than just about anything.
Hate it. Yep.
I want bath water in that swimming pool. I tell you, I don't care if it's 100 degrees outside. I want it to be warm.
Not that hot. No.
Sandy and I go to the pool here in Aurora. We have a real nice pool, as you know. Yeah. And the water's always cold. I don't care if it's been 100 degrees for 2 weeks in a row. The water's always cold because they add new water every day.
My two nephews in New York, they've got a pool. And my two nephews in New York have a pool, right?
Yeah.
So when we go up there, I get in the pool with them, mess around, just playing around, whatever. And they live in New York. They're used to cold, right?
Yeah.
And so they get in there and they're going crazy, and it's like okay. And I get in there and I'm freezing.
I know.
They're used to that cold because they live in New York. So
yeah. I can't do it.
I'm the same, but Kevin says that he screamed like a girl when that water above the waist. Yeah,
it's literally what I do when I go to the pool. Like Sandy just gets right in. It doesn't bother her. It does me.
Hate it.
I put my feet in the water and I sit on the edge.
Okay.
Dreading getting into the water.
Once you get in, it's
fine.
That's the when we went to Vegas, there was a wave pool. It was at Mandalay Bay, and man, getting out there to the actual waves, and then that first wave coming and it hits you above the shoulders. Oh,
I know.
Yeah, but then it was fine.
And I know, and I know if I just jump in, it'll be fine.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm sitting up there and I'm about to smother because it's 100 degrees. I only got my feet in the water and I'm sitting there going, okay, am I hot enough yet? No, not yet.
No. That's now you're doing it wrong. You can't get hot because then when you jump in, the water's more cold.
Okay. Yeah. Kevin says he can't go in ocean water.
Yeah. So if he says if it's not clear, he's not going in. Too creeped out. What below the surface?
Well, if it's not clear, yes.
So that's something. Well, ocean it isn't clear.
Well, you can kind of see the bottom. It depends on how deep you get in, but
that's something when you're a kid you don't even think about. When you're an adult, you're like, anything could touch my leg right now.
Well, listen, Sandy and I go to the beach every year. There's something grabs me every time I go. I mean, there's a crab that'll bite my toe or something. I don't really have fear of the ocean, and I don't know why, but I'm scared to death to walk around in a lake.
Well, that is weird.
Oh, I am.
That's weird.
No, the ocean, I guess because it's sand. It's sand in the lakes, rocks and weeds and stuff.
Ed says in Cancun, the water's warm and clear. That may be where you need to go. That sounds good.
Yeah, you're probably, sometimes when we go to the beach in Florida, the water is clear. I like this, Kevin. Step on a shell, and I think a great white is my.
Every time I feel anything in the ocean now, I think it's a shark. Yep.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm here.
I just don't. A couple summers ago, we went, and the dolphins get up pretty close now.
Yeah.
They always have, but their fin will come up out of the water. So we're out in the water, and these people are out a little bit deeper than we are, and they are just hightailing it to the shore. And they saw a dolphin and thought it was
a shark.
It was a shark.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah. I don't have a fear of the ocean. I don't know why. I really and truly don't. I guess I've been 100 times, but I don't have any fear. Yeah. But there ain't no way I would walk out waist deep in a pond or a lake. I would not do it. It scares me to death.
Well, I hear you.
Yeah, it's got to be because it's rocks and weeds, and you don't know what's under those things.
Yeah. Well, these lakes around here. You're right.
This is a good question. This is easy for me.
Yeah, sharks, snakes, spiders. What's your biggest fear out of those three?
There's not even. I don't even think snakes. Terrified of them.
Snakes, easily for me. Easily. Yep. Very scared of snakes. They're very fast.
Absolutely terrified.
So
I'm just terrified of them. We don't have. We have not very many. You probably have some snakes where you live a little bit.
Yeah, we live kind of in the hills in a way. Yeah. Well, in the woods up on a hill. So yeah, we do have snakes.
You've got woods up behind you, so you probably see a few.
Yeah.
I thought where we live, we'd see more than we do because we have a big pond right down from us, and I thought there'd be water snakes and stuff. But every once in a while, I'll see a little garter snake out on the sidewalk, and I'll walk out that front door. That snake will be about that long. Yeah. And they're perfectly harmless, and I know it. But I'll jump 20 feet in the air when I see that snake. It'll scare me. It just scares me to death.
So Kevin says snakes, and if you say otherwise, you're a certified psycho. You know who's deathly afraid of spiders, but not of snakes?
No.
Heather.
She's not afraid of a snake.
Not at all.
You know where I know a lot of people that aren't. I'll tell you where I got it.
Kevin said little garter snake came up on my mowing the other day, and I screamed and basically handed my wallet over.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I tell you, they scare me to death. A bear could be on the front porch, and I would not be afraid of that bear near as much as a little snake about that long.
And listen,
I don't like long worms.
This is a true story. There was a black snake.
Oh, I hate those.
In our yard. It was huge.
Yeah.
And it was kind of coming up towards the porch. Heather got that broom, said, I'll get that thing out of here, and just started smashing, hitting that broom. Get out of here. And that thing just took off. And I was like, God, how can you do that?
I probably could do it, but I wouldn't.
But then, even if I'm on the air right now and there's a spider in the house, I'd have to go kill it. So figure that out.
Yeah, spiders don't bother me unless they're crawling on me. I don't like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if I see if a spider's like on the wall over
absolutely.
Here, I'll just leave it alone. I don't care.
No, it don't bother me at all.
No, anyway.
No, not a bit. But I got the fear of snakes from my mother and your grandmother. Mm-hmm. When we moved over to the house where they lived when you were little.
Yeah.
That was just an open area.
Right.
And there's fields all behind it. And she was deathly afraid of snakes. And she thought there would be snakes everywhere.
Yeah.
Because of that field. And we were little kids, my brother and I, and she sat us down and she goes, there's going to be snakes over here. And she goes, they will kill you. So she said, if you see a snake, you run as fast as you can. So if your mother, who you trust more than anybody in the world, tells you that snake's going to kill you, and you're like 8 years old, you're going to run. And in all the time I lived over there, I don't think I saw 10 snakes the whole time. There weren't any. So, but
I
she
lived
was
over there a while. I saw. Well, I used to have a dog would kill the snakes. We had a couple, and he'd kill them. So,
yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Sure.
Now remember, I'm on the Magic Mike show in 49 minutes. So
Okay.
we're running low on time now. I got to get
All right. I don't know. You probably have never had one, but I have. What was your most embarrassing moment?
What do you mean? I've never had an embarrassing moment.
Yeah, you probably never have.
What kind of life do you think I'm living over here? I just said an embarrassing moment.
A charmed life.
I've only got.
Everybody was. I'm kidding.
No. There's really not one that sticks out.
I knew it. I knew it.
Hey, I was embarrassed this weekend. How about that?
Well, that's your own worrying too much.
Okay.
You didn't have a good weekend because that was tough to have a good weekend on the horses. It didn't come out stuff just didn't. Yeah. Okay. I get you. I know. And you're right, because it's your job and you feel like you failed when it was just a tough week and you were embarrassed for your picks. Okay. Yeah. All right. I will concede that. You're right.
A lot of times.
That is not something you might have really done that was stupid.
A lot. There's not one I could really point to. I've been embarrassed a lot.
Well, I have too. You can't be a and not be embarrassed. There's stuff that happens or a coach, but this one still sticks out in my mind as not only one of the dumbest things I ever did, but it was one of the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. I was coaching and it wasn't even my game. I was sitting on the bench. We were coaching junior high at the time, and I had the 7th grade, and the other guy had the 8th grade. And it was in the 8th grade game. My game had already been over. And so it was near the end of the game. And the officiating wasn't very good, but I never got on officials, hardly ever. Well, anyway, this guy just kept dragging the game out, just calling foul after foul. The dumb stuff. We were behind by 20 points, and we were get out of there. So he called a foul with like 8 seconds left or something, and the other coach goes, the 8th grade coach goes, let's just get this over with, like that. And he turned around and teed him, just teed him up.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I go, that is ridiculous. Bam, he tees me up. And I said, what are you doing? Bam, he tees me up again.
Oh, you got kicked out.
And I get kicked out of a game that I'm not even coaching. Okay. And I really wasn't mad at him or anything. It just was a reaction. So I had to get up in front, and there was a junior high game, but there were several people there. You remember going to those games at Robinson, and they filled them. It was filled.
Yeah. And
I had to walk out of that gym escorted by the principal in front of everybody. That was very embarrassing. And I wasn't really even, it was just, a circumstance that happened. And
you didn't get your money's worth.
I didn't even get my money's worth. I didn't even, yell at him. And he overreacted. And so, of course, I got in trouble for the administration, and I ended up writing him a letter.
Oh, good God.
They wanted me to do that. And then, of course, he wrote back and said, hey, I'm sorry. I jumped to conclusion. I mean, all things ended fine.
Yeah.
But it was just, it was embarrassing whenever that happened.
How much of complaining to an official is to play up for your crowd in your kind of maybe your team, to give them a bump versus just, I'm really pissed at this guy?
Some coaches do that. I did not.
I would think that's 90% of it. Because a lot of people say, oh, you're bitching at the official. He's trying to get that call next time it's close. And I think that's part of it. I think a lot of it is just to kind of get.
Sometimes you have to defend your kid a little bit because he thinks he got fouled or whatever, whether you think he did or not. And he's kind of a kid that kind of, I don't know what the word is, but you got to make sure that you're on his side. Sometimes you do that.
He needs to feel that, or he or she needs to feel supported. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you stand over on the sidelines and you bitch at every call, it's not going to do you any good, because you get down to the end and it's a 50-50 call. I always felt like they were going to go the other way.
Yeah.
So I never did gripe at officials much because by and large, I never I must have coached 9 million games. I only felt like I got cheated out of a game once. I really did. And because most of the time, I don't think they cared who won. I think they were trying to do the best they could do. Some of them just weren't as good as others, and that's just the way it is. So I never was one of those guys that got on officials much. I'm not saying I got along with them real well, but no, I never did get on them too much. One more.
Okay.
I really like this one. I want you to think on this. This is a good one.
Okay.
If animals could talk other than a dog, what species of animal would be the nicest if they could talk other than a dog?
Other than a dog.
A dog, we all know.
Oh boy, that's a toughie.
Just think of an animal that you think is smart, is nice.
A dolphin seems nice.
I would think a dolphin's nice. Yes,
they seem to always be having fun.
No question.
Snakes,
very intelligent. Snakes are not nice. Never been a snake I loved. I mean,
I don't think a cat would be that nice.
Cats are snotty, some of them.
My cat would be nice to Heather, but not me, I would think. Yeah, I think a dolphin would be really.
Dolphin's good.
You know, a horse. I think horses would be nice.
Yeah, Trish says a cow.
Cow, they're pretty friendly. Yeah, cows are friendly. I would think cows.
I like that.
I don't know. Squirrels, they seem friendly, or bunnies. Yeah.
Ed says a hamster.
Yeah, I think all
bite.
Yeah, I think those are all good. Yep.
Okay, I'm going to toss out my favorite animal.
Okay.
When I go to the zoo, I like these the most.
Okay.
A giraffe.
They seem like they would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've ever been to the Springfield Zoo here, you can feed them.
Oh, yeah.
And they can come right over there, and they're so cool.
Yeah.
I think they're just cool looking. I just love to look at them. They're just, you talk about a strange looking creature. That's a pretty strange looking creature.
They're definitely a strange looking creature, but they're cool. Like they're
calm.
Cool.
They're pretty calm. I guess they can be mean, but.
Well, have you seen giraffes fight? You see how they fight? They with their necks, they swing them.
Do they?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen them fight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
look, Kevin B just said it. Have you seen them fight?
Okay.
It's scary. You need to YouTube that when you get out.
I guess I should. They just come over and you feed them lettuce, big old leaf lettuce.
Mm-hmm.
And they just come over. They got the longest tongue, and they just grab that lettuce and they look at you and like, "Thank you. Can I have another one?" And
they're cool.
They're really cool.
They're cool.
I think they would be nice. But when you think of animals, there's not too many I would think would be nice. Really, I don't think a monkey's nice.
A monkey?
Yeah, they'll spit at you.
They're too much like humans. I wouldn't want that. I'm trying to find this real quick.
I don't think an elephant would be nice.
Fighting. Here we go. Yeah, this shit is nuts.
I'll YouTube that. I don't think there are some horses that are just sweet as can be.
Yeah.
But others are mean.
Yes.
And so
you just never really know. Yeah, I would like to know how they're feeling before they get in the gate. That's for sure.
Yeah. You know what?
Watch this.
Okay.
You see this? Look at this.
Wow.
Look at that. That's wild.
Look how they can fling those necks around.
Yeah, watch this shit. It's like a look at this. Oh my God. That's crazy.
That is.
That's nuts.
Okay, they're nice unless they're fighting each other.
Look at that. They are mad.
Whoa, yeah.
They are mad.
Yeah. But anyway, I thought that was an interesting question.
All right.
Well, most dogs would be nice.
Yes, for sure.
I firmly believe a dog will be, there's no such thing as just a mean dog. You have to make him mean.
Oh, 100%. Yep. 100%. All right. Well, that's it. I got to get ready for the Magic Mike show coming up in about 40 minutes. Somich will be live. We're doing the late pick 5 at Belmont Park. That does not include the Man of War or the Peter Pan. Those are going to be earlier races on the card for whatever reason. Not quite sure. So if you want those, we do have that covered on Blinkers Off. We talked about those 2 races plus another one. So, but Magic Mike show going to be the late pick 5. Somich and I will be there. Like I said, it should be a fun time as I'm filling in for Mr. Magic today. All right, Papa Dude, you got anything else? Any final comment?
You want to plug the new website, or the new thing, or do you want to do that maybe on the Daily Show?
We are going to have not a new website, but a new page on the site. It is going to be Best Bets. It's going to have a bunch of different handicappers, best bets for the day that you could purchase. It's not out yet. It should be launched next week. So like on this show next week, we could probably talk about it a whole heck of a lot more, but yeah, it is something to look out for. It's coming soon. We're getting the handicappers on board and ready, Papa Dude being one of them. So yeah, it is coming soon. I think you guys are really going to like it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're all going to be competing. It's going to keep track of everybody's wins, losses, ROIs, things like that. So yeah, are you excited? Are you very excited about this?
I'm very nervous. Here's going to be my rules. If I get far behind, I'm dropping out. So which is probably going to happen. No, I think it'd be really, really, really fun. And it's a great addition to the site. And we get some great guys on there. So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Let's see. Kevin says, can we get a Dudes Who Bet Sports happy hour in Saratoga this year? Yes, I think we can.
Okay.
You're coming, right?
I sure would like to.
Well, there's no better time than this year to get it done.
That's true.
All right.
It's true. I'm not getting any younger.
That's right. That's right. It has to be this year. All right. Hopefully not. All right. We got to go. We got to get out of here. We'll be back here in about 35 minutes for the final of the 4 shows today. As for this show, we're gone. We'll see you guys later. We'll see you guys next week. So everybody have a good week.
This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Halterman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.